Welcome to the What She Say podcast. Here we tackle the tough and taboo conversations. You know, the type you only have in your auntie's living room. Yeah, those conversations. Because there are so many lessons and takeaways from this thing that we call life. And I'm here to talk about all of them. And don't worry, I will not leave out any details. So, with that being said, let's get into today's episode. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the What She Say podcast with your girl, Gabby. And as promised, here is the start to our relationship series called the Relationship Diaries. And pretty much, we talk about relationships, not just, what you see on social media, but we really get into the nitty gritty parts of relationships. And hopefully, I help you guys either, turn your relationship into a healthy one, re-examine your relationship, or I just give you guys some good content to listen to about relationships. Whatever the case is, I'm glad I did it. So today, we're going to actually talk about the Netflix series Love is Blind. And we're going to be answering the question, is love truly blind? For those of you who don't know what Love is Blind is a Netflix series pretty much that focuses on making mentally stimulating connections, emotionally geared connections by putting several individuals, male on one side, female on the other side, into an experiment. And pretty much, guys, they are pretty much hiding their faces, hiding their whole bodies actually behind a wall, and they both go into two separate rooms. They're able to talk to each other, ask each other all types of questions without seeing each other, and they have to make the decision to get engaged with a person without even ever seeing them. And once they are engaged, that is when they can finally see their partner. And then eventually, throughout the experiment, they get to live together and really figure out, do I want to spend the rest of my life with you guys? Or with you, I should say. Pretty much. And they go through real world, troubles, and they meet each other's families and different things like that. So it's an accelerated dating experience. I love the show because I love the concept of pretty much someone being able to get to know you without worrying about the physicalities of you. I think that concept is really dope, and I do wish that we were able to date that way, because I feel as though we would get to weed out a lot of the bull, or we would get to weed out a lot of the people who do not have the right intentions. We would get to figure out almost instantly, okay, who's only lusting after me and who really likes me or loves me or wants me because I am who I am. Pretty much. I would definitely say this last season, I noticed, got a lot of attention. If you have not watched it, go ahead and watch it. Click off of this because I may accidentally spoil it, because I've watched every single season pretty much. But I would definitely say this last season captivated me the most because it touched on a lot of topics that I never really seen a Netflix dating series, I should say, touch on. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just haven't seen it. So pretty much, I would definitely say they touched on the topics of, lustful people in regards to Black women. Black women, we are constantly, in my opinion, we are sexualized. We are ostracized. We are made to feel uncomfortable in our own skin. There was a person on there by the name of AD, and she became a instant fan favorite for a lot of reasons. I believe one of the reasons was she was authentically herself. She didn't let anybody change her opinion. She didn't let anybody force her into doing anything or saying anything. There was one time where a guy, Clay, was like, I'm not going to move forward with you if you don't show me your face, or tell me what you look like, I should say. I stand corrected. Yeah, that's what he said. And she was like, well, that's not the point of the experiment. Like, the whole point is for us not to show each other who we are, and for us not to describe our physical attributes, and to really get to know each other for who we are as people. And she stood firm in that. And a lot of different opinions that she had, she stood firm in. She did not let other people sway her left or right. She was authentically herself. The issue started to come up, in my opinion, is when people physically saw her and immediately sexualized her. Like, she was the typical, I wouldn't say the typical, but what a lot of us women look like. You know, she had the boobs, she had the butt, she had everything. She was a dancer, so she was fit. You know, she kept herself up. She had a standard for herself, so that exuded off of her. And immediately, men who easily said no to her legit were like lusting over her, and pretty much was just kind of jeopardizing their own relationships, their own engagements, because they were sexualizing her. So I thought that was an interesting, topic for them to really touch on. Also, on top of that, they really touched on Black love and also interracial dating and the challenges of both. Because yes, I can be with this Black man, but that comes with challenges. And also, yes, I can be with this white man or this white woman, but that also comes with its challenges. It comes with judgment. It comes with people trying to tell you, oh, they don't understand you. They don't know where you're coming from. Different things like that. Either way, you're going to get challenges and you're going to get people's opinion. And I love that they touched on that in this season. Not saying that they didn't touch on interracial dating in previous seasons, but I never saw it addressed how it was addressed in this season. Like, they addressed the topic head on, asking the tough questions, which I really, really liked. So pretty much that's like the basic synopsis. Those are some of the highlights from this season that I truly, truly did like. But it made me want to answer the question, do I believe love is truly blind? My short answer, honestly, I feel like the politically correct answer is to say, yes, I do believe love is truly blind, because if the person is your person, their spirits are going to recognize your spirit and all this other stuff. Yes, that is true in a sense. However, we can be so for real. Physical attributes are also very important when it comes to relationships. And a lot of people don't want to talk about that, and a lot of people don't want to admit that because they're afraid of coming off lustful. They are afraid of coming off misogynistic. They are afraid of looking too picky, or whatever the case may be. So I'm going to be the one to say it for you. Physical attributes do matter. I'm sorry. And maybe it's where I am in life. You know, I am still young, so maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But I cannot be with someone I am not physically attracted to. There is no amount of like or even love that will make me just pursue someone I'm not attracted to, like right off the bat. Now, things happen. We age, I should say. Looks fade. I understand that. But after so much time, it's like I have learned to see the beauty within. I have learned to see, I think you handsome even when you wrinkly. You know what I'm saying? You learn to build that up down the line, in my opinion. But if you come right out the gate and I'm not attracted to you, and that doesn't mean you're ugly. What I mean is you're not my cup of tea. That's all I'm saying. And I don't mean it in like the superficial way where it's like, oh, you gotta be 6'5", chocolate, you have to have waves, you have to have this, or whatever the case may be. That's just going off the dome. And if my man is watching this, it was just an example. I know you don't look nothing like that. Just want to put that out there. But yeah, it's not like I think like that. It's just I have to see you and I'll be like, ooh. Because like one thing about me, I do feel like in a sense, in a relationship, it is healthy to somewhat be lustful over your partner. Let me say that. Over your partner. I do feel as though it adds a little bit of spice. And on top of that, it just keeps the spark alive when you're just like, you can look at your man and be like, God did his big one when he came with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I feel as though in your relationship, you should still feel wanted. You should still feel desired. And I do feel as though if you go into an experiment not knowing if you're really going to feel that way about another person, I do feel as though that is very dangerous. Because a lot of people, they also go into this experiment. They really, really like a person or even claim to love a person behind that wall. But the moment they see them, it's just like, oh, I don't know. And they decide to keep going with the experiment. And they're like, maybe I'll grow to like how they look. But at the end of the day, let's be so for real. Preferences are preferences. You like what you like. And that doesn't mean like, oh, you're a type or whatever the case may be. Because I'm one of those people, I don't have a type. I literally see a person and I decide, okay, do I like you or do I not? It has nothing to do with the previous person I was dealing with. None of the people I've ever dealt with in life look alike. And pretty much anyone who's close to me can vouch for that. No one's ever looked alike. So I don't have a type. It's just, if I'm attracted to you, I'm attracted to you. It don't matter what I'm attracted to you for, I'm attracted to you. You know, on top of that, it's just like, let's be so for real. I think about my kids. I think about my kids. Like, my DNA, we working with something. We starting off strong. But I needed to be able to mix with your DNA. And we can make something beautiful. I'm sorry, but I can't be. Let me not say that, because then that's when God will really humble me. But I want my kids to look good. Like, I don't want them to look like little tree monsters. I don't want that. I'm thinking about my seed, y'all. I'm sorry. I can't. I can't just. Nah, I couldn't do it. On top of that, do I feel as though love is blind? If you can't tell, my answer is no. However, on the flip side, I do believe that, you know, when looks fade, or even if a person isn't as attractive, but they're attractive to you or whatever the case may be, I do believe that you're supposed to be able to fall back on what makes the person them. You know, I do believe that us as a culture, us as a society, us as a specific generation of young folks, we do focus a lot on the physical attributes. We do focus a lot on physical appearance. Not even realizing the person that you're going for or the person that you're trying to make it work with is trash. Personality wise, trash. Like, you're boring. You have no fun. You have no substance. You might be dumb as hell. Like, all these different things. Morally, we don't align. Spiritually, we do not align. We do not want the same things out of life. We are not going in the same directions. Our generation, we really do overlook some of those very key things, because at the end of the day, you can only pretend to like something for so long. If it's not it, it's not it. It don't matter how much a person looks. You know, one of the things that I really do pay attention to, or I did pay attention to in my dating phase, was, how does my spirit feel with you? How do you connect with something within me? That unlocks so many different parts of me. You know, when it comes to like the sexual part and everything like that, and just like the physical part, if you can get up here, if you can stimulate me up here, babe, you got everything else. You not only just physically, but you have my loyalty, you have my love, you know, you have that nurturing, you know, side of me. If you can stimulate up here and you can keep up here happy, you got everything else. Nothing is too much at that point. Nothing, you know. So I do feel as though we need to pay more attention to those things. You know, there has been instances where the package looked great, y'all. Like, the package looked great, but then I got to know the person. It's just like, you have no substance. You can't talk about anything outside of surface level stuff. And if you know me, you know, like, I cannot deal with like constant small talk. And I understand when you go into the business industry, you got to get better at it and yada, 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 yada. But I am too deep of a person. I overthink. I am completely just a very curious person. I got all of that going on. I cannot do small talk for too long. Eventually, I'm going to want to ask you about your childhood. And I'm going to want to ask you about, like, do you think aliens are real? Do you think ghosts are real? What's your relationship with God? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you have a relationship or do you just go to church? When was the last time you've been to church? Do you have any church hurt? Like, you see how I just went off the dome, like, with questions and with different topics, because one thing truly does lead to another. And it's like, if you can't keep up, or if you don't like that type of stuff, or you just don't have anything to say, you're clipped. You are clipped. Because I cannot talk to you. You're not mentally stimulating me. You're not pushing me to think. You're not challenging me. You're clipped. I can't do it. Then on top of that, like with the whole is love blind thing, I could not go through that experiment, period. I feel like the talking part, I would have loved. You know, the reveal part, that would have been iffy because I show a lot of stuff in my facial expression. So if I truly didn't think the person was that and I just wasn't attracted to them, it probably would show in my face instantly. Zoom in on the camera. Now I'm the most hated in America because I wasn't attracted to them and it showed, you know. So it's like, that would have been a little iffy. I would definitely say the part that I just don't think I could do for real is the engagement part and then getting married. Because I think that happens within like the whole thing is like a couple months. And I'm not talking about like 6 or 7. Like, no, like maybe, I think it's like 2 or 3. If even that, if I'm being quite honest, I'm a little confused about the timeline. But it's very short is all y'all need to know. It's not long enough to know if y'all are going to spend the rest of your life with someone. It's not long enough. I just don't think I could do it. I do believe that marriage is sacred. Let's really get into it. Let's really get into it. I believe that marriage is sacred. I believe that when you get married, you are now in covenant. What is covenant? To me, the way I describe it, I would describe covenant as it is a promise that is between you and God that you made with another person. In the form of marriage, I should say, within the institution of marriage. You know, you're in covenant. You know, you and me, we are one. We become one. God, He honors marriage so much that even if you chose the wrong person, even if that's not your person, if you get married under God, God still honors that union. He still honors that y'all are a union. Even if He knows that is not the person that He maybe put in your life for that reason, you know, He still honors that. Marriage is such a special thing. It is not something that I personally want to do more than once. If I get married, when I get married, I'm only doing it one time. And that's no shade to anyone who's ever been divorced or anything like that, because trust me, I understand that sometimes divorce is necessary. If you get beaten on or cheated on, best believe get up on out of there. I understand that wholeheartedly. You know, and honestly, unfortunately, a lot of us realize a little too late down the line, this wasn't my person. And I encourage you that if this is not your person, go and find them. So sometimes divorce is necessary depending on your story. But I know I don't want that to be a part of my story. If I get married to someone, it's because I thought about it long and hard. It's because I know this is my person. This is the person that I trust to provide. This is the person that I trust to love me unconditionally. This is the person that I trust that is going to cover me spiritually. This is the person that I trust to raise my children with. Oh, y'all, it gets deep. It gets deep. This is the person that I trust to lead not only me, but our family. this is the person that I am trusting with me. Like, that is deep. Not only that, because a lot of people, when they think about marriage, they think about the wedding. And don't get me wrong, that's lit. Because it's like, if I say I do in front of my whole friends and family and everything, that's a big deal. Because that means publicly, a pimp is down. But on top of that, it's like, you got to go past the wedding and think about all the hard times that y'all might go through. Think about all of the challenges that y'all might face. Because the thing is, if God loves marriage, how do you think the devil feels about it? Like, let's be so for real. So because I truly do feel like the devil doesn't like it, or he doesn't encourage it, or whatever the case may be, he knows that we are stronger together than we ever will be apart. So we're going to face some challenges. We're going to face some trials and different things like that. And it's like, I am trusting you to go through those trials with. I believe that you are the person I should do all of this with. You know, you are the person I'm going to start businesses with. You're the person that I'm going to make money with. You are the person that when I'm old and I'm wrinkly and everything like that, it's still me and you. You're the person I want to grow old with. You know what I'm saying? That is what marriage is for me. In order for me to know that this is what I want with you, you know, as far as another person, it's going to take me more than 2 months. I know it's an unpopular opinion, because a lot of people say when you know, you just know. You don't need that much time. I agree. However, you have to understand where I'm thinking of. I'm a 21-year-old who is not yet fully established, who has not yet fully discovered her purpose, who is still figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? I do not expect someone to come into my life. I don't expect my man to propose to me right now, because I would look at him like, are you serious? We don't have anything established yet. You know, and I do feel as though in order to know if you really want to marry a person, you got to see all types of sides of them. Like I said, I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I need to see you when you are happy, utmost in your highest frequency. I need to see when you are at your lowest. And I don't mean in depression or anything like that, because I would never wish that on anyone. But I mean, maybe when things aren't as good. You know, I need to see you when you are upset. I need to see you when you're angry. I need to see you when you are feeling overstimulated. I need to see you when you're feeling confused or when you're feeling lost. I need to see how you are with money. I need to see how you are with your family. I need to see how you are with my family. And that's going to take some time within itself, because my family, we have layers, okay? And it takes a special person to want to unlock all of those layers and really get to know us for who we are. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's just so many different things. Are our careers going to line up in the long run? Are you going to support me? Will I be able to support you in your career and all the endeavors that come with that? You know, it's just all different types of things. Like, how are we going to pay the bills? You know, do you believe in this? Do you believe in that? Spiritually, what's up with that? You know what I'm saying? As a family, are we going to go to church together? You know, as a couple, are we going to go to church together? Are we going to, you know, fast together, pray together? How are we going to make sure we stay connected spiritually? You know, do we even connect spiritually is something that I would need to know. Are you able to provide? You know, are you able to, if push came to shove and I said, I don't ever want to work again, is that something you're okay with? Like, all of those things would have to be answered for me to commit the rest of my life to someone. And I don't care what anybody says, that takes time. That takes time. That takes effort and hard work. That takes patience. It takes time to learn a person. It takes a lot of patience to see all of those sides and say, you know what, I'm gonna work with you on that. We can fix that, because I'm sorry, but I do not believe that any relationship is perfect. It is not. What they're telling you on social media is a lie. Ask any of the OGs and the G mamas. Ask any of them about their marriages. I'm pretty sure they went through a period of time where they couldn't stand their spouse, and they still chose them, and they still stuck by them, and they still defended them, and all this other stuff. I bet money that they would tell you that is the reality of marriage. You know, so that takes time to cultivate. Like, and you're not going to get everything the first time. That is something that I'm learning in my relationship now. That we are two separate individuals who are trying to come together as one. We were raised differently. We have experienced different things. We have different, traumatic events that may have happened to us. We have different outlooks on life sometimes. We are two separate people trying to come together to create something beautiful. That takes time, effort, and patience. I could not see myself only knowing of a person for a few months and saying, yes, let's rush to the altar. And don't get me wrong, for some people that works for them. But I am too anxious of a person to make that type of decision with that little time. I couldn't do it. Like, don't get me wrong, I do feel as though you kind of, when it comes to like, I do feel as though, yes, you do know I could marry this person. I do want to be with this person for the rest of my life and everything like that. But I do feel as though you need to set yourself up for success. You need to set up the relationship for success. You need to iron out some of the things you need to iron out now. Because when it comes to marriage, baby, that's forever. That is for the rest of your life. Shouldn't that be something that you should think over? Shouldn't that be something that you should, I don't know, take some time to fill it out? Now, I will say on the flip side though, it don't take 10 years to do all that though. I feel as though a good timeline, if we go and create one, because everyone's is different, everyone's relationship is different. However, I say 3 years. 3 years is a pretty good little time period. It used to be 2 years, but that's when I was in my delulu stage. As I'm getting older, I'm realizing that marriage comes with so much more than just the lovey-dovey stuff in the pictures on Instagram. It's actually a lot more work. I would say 3 years. The reason why I say 3 years is because the first year is straight, you really just getting to know the person. I can't even say you know the person. You're getting to know the person. By the second year, you're kind of becoming cohesive a little bit. I'm learning a little bit about you. I'm learning what makes you tick. I'm learning what you like. We're starting to get a little bit more comfortable, but we're not all the way there just yet. By the third year, we should have our flow. In my opinion. Different questions that I have should have 3 years, they should be answered. If by 3 years you don't know if you want to be with me, baby, you don't want to be with me. Okay, within the first year, I can understand why you're like, I don't know, because you don't know me. The second year is like, okay, I'm learning a little bit more about you. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Let's get to the hard questions. Let's get to the part, that may be a little bit more uncomfortable for the both of us. Because at the end of the day, we talking about our future. I feel as though you should want to ask the hard stuff at that point. In 3 years, like I said, we should know at that point. Conversations should have been had. Experiences should have been had. On top of that, like 3 years, that's a good little amount of time to build up experiences with that person. And that's a good amount of time to figure out, do I want to keep having experiences with you? Or was this just a moment in time? And remember, you guys, I am also a young adult. So in my head, all I'm thinking of is time. 3 years, that is a lot of time. So it's like, if I can dedicate 3 years to you and be perfectly comfortable with spending the rest of my life with you, that makes sense. I realize that if you want something quality, if you want something to last a lifetime, you have to put in the time. You have to put in the work. So I don't think I could go through that type of experiment, and be sane. I definitely don't think I would get to the altar, which is unfortunate because they pay for everything. But I don't think I could do it, you guys. Like, I think it would just be too overwhelming for me. Also, I could not see family getting on a Netflix series and supporting all that. They would be like, Gabby, come on. What are you doing? I'm not trying to get embarrassed on national television. On top of that, it's just, I don't think it's for me. Then I also noticed how a lot of people got publicly embarrassed because of a lot of this season. Like I said, it got deep. Like a lot of the situations, I was like, ugh. Like there was this one couple, Jimmy and Chelsea, I think. They, to me, they were the most toxic couple ever. Like Jimmy, I feel as though he was very lustful. He was one of the men that turned to AD when he physically saw her and was like, oh, maybe you aren't, that bad or whatever. You should have chosen to begin with if you felt that way. Like, I feel like he was very lustful. I do feel as though he did not know exactly what he wanted. And because he already had chose Chelsea, he was trying to stand by it. But I know I knew he regretted the moment he saw her, because Chelsea claimed that she looked like Megan Fox, y'all. This white woman didn't look nothing like Megan Fox. Now, let me say, I could see kind of where people getting that from. But, baby, you don't look like Megan Fox. She didn't. I'm sorry. She just didn't. So he had that expectation, and it was just like, okay, who is this? So immediately I saw that red flag. Then I do feel as though they both preyed on each other's insecurities, and they both had terrible communication, for sure. I do feel as though, as everyone else said, Chelsea needed some therapy, for sure. As I feel like he did too, which is an unpopular opinion. I feel as though he needed to grow up. He had a very unrealistic expectation as far as relationships and how a woman is supposed to show up in relationships. This man had all female best friends. One of them he fucked and was still best friends with the girl, and expected his new fiance, who don't know this bitch from nowhere, to be okay with their friendship. What? As a man, why would you even want to put the woman that you love and adore, want to spend the rest of your life with? Why would you even put her in that type of predicament? Be so for real. And Chelsea was extremely insecure. I feel like she was extremely insecure physically. I believe she had expressed that she had always gotten cheated on in her relationship. So I do believe trust issues were definitely there. I do believe that she had a lot of things that maybe she didn't even know about or was aware that was bothering her so much until she got on this show and went through this experiment. I would definitely say those two were probably the most toxic couple, and I can't go through that type of embarrassment. On top of that, like Clay and AD, that they were a couple that I had mentioned also from this prior season, and all Clay talked about was he didn't want to be a cheater. For him not to have wanted to be a cheater, this man talked about cheating the whole season. I just don't want to cheat, man. Like my dad, I don't, my dad, he cheated on my mom, I don't know. It's basically making it seem like cheating is hereditary. It's not. Just putting that out there. It's not. You can see something growing up and still choose to be different. So that was the whole thing. And he basically was making it seem like he was ready for marriage and all this other stuff. But if you listen to his dialogue through the whole season, everyone knew he wasn't ready for marriage, because you are still trying to dissect your parents' divorce that happened who knows how long ago. You are not ready for marriage. And of course, like, this was a year ago, so he could be ready now. But back then, absolutely not. So he left her at the altar. Like, he was just like, I don't, my nigga, I don't. And eventually, we see in real time that he regretted that decision, but it's just like, at the end of the day, you knew you were going to say no. And I don't care what anybody says. On that day, you know what your decision is. Let's be so for real. You might go back and forth a little bit, but you know what your decision is. And it's like, fortunately for them, that shit was paid for. The wedding, the dress, the tux, everything. The decorations and all that. It was paid for. I'd be doggone if I spent my own money. We spend our own money. We done created a guest list. Everybody got their own plates, their own menus. I done got this expensive ass dress that fits my body oh so nicely. I done paid for the hair. I done paid for everything. Probably know myself. I'm flying people in the state or wherever I'm at to witness this beautiful occasion. I'd be damned. I'd be damned if I do all that, but in the back of my head, I don't think I'm gonna marry you. You gotta be a sick individual. You gotta be a sick individual. In a minute, you finna be a broke individual because why would you do that? I couldn't. I just simply couldn't. You know what the decision is before you even get there. Hopefully you both come together and you guys are planning this wedding and doing all this other stuff so that you both can say I do, because you both know that you want to spend the rest of your lives together. I'll be damned if someone says no to me at the altar. I could not participate in this experiment, I should say. Because the moment he says I don't, I'm knocking everything over and I'm throwing my bouquet at your face. What you mean? Go ahead and run that back. Let's do this scene again, because he's going to say yes. He's going to say yes. Because you're not finna embarrass me in front of all these folks. Not only just physically, but the rest of the world. Oh no. You're not going to see it. So, with that being said, I do not think love is blind. I do feel as though there are still things that people look for physically. There are some things that you're willing to waver about, but at the end of the day, you at least want to be itsy bitsy, just a teeny bit, I should say, attracted to the person that you're with. I do believe that can get you somewhere. Now, can it keep you somewhere? No. I do believe that what is in here and in here, it does matter way more than looks. But looks do still matter. So, yeah, I don't think love is blind. I don't. I don't. I don't think I could go through an experiment like that at all. But hey, I could have a completely unpopular opinion. I could have a very unique opinion. Y'all let me know in the comments. Do y'all think love is blind? Why or why not? Let's have a dialogue. Let's talk about it. I definitely want to pose this question actually on Instagram before I even really release this episode, because I actually want to see you guys' feedback before you even hear my opinion, to see, like, are we on the same page, or are y'all thinking I'm tripping? I want to know. Alright, y'all. So with that being said, remember, don't be mad at me, because if she didn't say it, it'll never get said. And I will see you guys on the next episode. Bye.